this glorious old Bedford, bodied as an ambulance. Right, as befits any decent steam rally, there's a lot of commercial vehicles here, so we're going to have a look now at the classic commercials, the vans, lorries and pickups that have turned up for this particular event. We've got a Bedford CF Mark 1, a drop side pickup truck, and the Morris J-Type, 1959 Morris J-Type. Oh, but this, to be correct, this is a Morris JB, and this has the BMC B series engine in it. The earlier vans, the earlier Morris J-Types had the side valve 4-cylinder engine as found in the Morris Oxford MOs of the 1950s, and just to sort of keep them a little bit more competitive for a little bit longer, they installed the B series, and that's when it became the Morris JB van. Alongside that we've got a glorious comma bus or coach. Isn't that absolutely wonderful? I absolutely love that. Note how the roof can be removed. It's got a canvas roof, so that can be taken off. I think this was used at the Great Orme in Llandudno in North Wales. That is absolutely wonderful. While you're watching this video, I'll do one video on the commercial vehicles, another on the cars. Let me know what your particular favourite is that I show here. I mean, that would have to be my favourite so far. That is just absolutely beautiful. Got a fuel cut off down there. Excuse my bagel. Just look at the shape on that, the way it flares out at the bottom. Great example of the coach builder's art. Pre-war, of course. There we go, Llandudno Urban District Council. If you check out the video I uploaded a little while ago of the Dover Transport Museum, in there they've got an old Dennis which is slightly earlier than this, and that was also used at the Great Orme. If that's also your favourite, please let me know in the comments. Well, there's a huge lineup of modern trucks, but we're not here for those, impressive as they are. We are here for the vintage and classic lorries, which are over here. And it begins with a lovely old AEC Mercury JFL 677. On the back it has a standard Fordson tractor. As with all these lorries, beautifully turned out. As you'll probably know, I'm quite a fan of the old sign writing. If you haven't seen the other videos on the classic lorries, this channel, please check them out after you've watched this one, of course. Hopefully there will be quite a few lorries here that we haven't seen before. Nice curved windshield. Wasn't long before that they were stuck with flat windscreens, but as the technology improved for curving glass, so the cabs evolved. Here we've got an early 70s Volvo, an F88 Volvo. And an ERF, local manufacturer, ERF and Foden, both linked by family, of course. They were manufacturers based in Sandbach, only a couple of miles from here. Lovely example here, all sheeted up. It's got a Perkins diesel. Like I say, ERF. And here we've got a Foden. One piece windscreen by this time. Tucked away on the back here, we appear to have a spare Gardner diesel engine, just in case. A much later Foden, this is from the 1980s. The ERF. More ERFs and Fodens. Quite late examples. Neither are still producing lorries anymore. And tucked away here we've got a Leyland Clydesdale that we saw at the Astor Park rally just a few weeks ago. Many ERF lorries, varying ages, mostly 1970s, 1980s and 1990s, looking at this little lineup. A pair of Bedfords now, a Bedford CF2 drop-side truck. Alongside that a TK. Next to that we have a BBC outside broadcast Austin lorry. That's lovely, isn't it? That would be based on the Austin Lodestar. There was the militarised version which was the K9, but this is a civilian Lodestar that this is based on, I believe. 1955, let's have a look at the information. Austin Lodestar, originally owned by the BBC and used as a generator lorry for outside broadcasts.
It's like a credit card mirror, so I could just go like that.
It was used for outside transmissions of Sir Winston Churchill's funeral in 1965 and the World Cup in 1966, and was withdrawn in 1968. It's fantastic, isn't it?
It's firefighting. Yeah. I've seen these YouTube videos of fire.
It's all very cosy in here, perfect for a weekend rally.
Nice to meet you.
Let's have a quick peek round the back. Well, back to the main line of lorries, and we've got an ERF here, early 1970s. The ERF. And a Seddon Atkinson. V registration, so about 1979. Alongside that we've got a big Foden, 4400. Another ERF, an E10. I can hear tractors in the distance. I think there's going to be a tractor pull taking place very soon. Over here we've got an AEC from 1966 in the BRS, British Road Services. BRS was the nationalised version of the, that was the nationalised industry back in the day. And now back to slightly earlier days. A wonderful old Foden WVS 901. I'll look at the age of that. Again, wonderful sign writing. The old Butler side lamps here. See if we can see inside. A lovely old Foden that is. Is that a time recorder on the back of the cab? Next to this glorious old Foden, we've got a Thames, Ford Thames. This is the 4D. This is a diesel powered version. There were two main versions, obviously there were different chassis lengths and ratings, but there were two main versions. There was the 4D, the diesel power, and there was the ET6, which had a petrol engine in it. This is the 4D. Over here we've got a couple of classic fire appliances. First up is LBL 596 and Old Dennis. In the livery of the Royal Ordnance of Aldermaston. Next to that we've got a London Fire Brigade Dodge. Well, let's carry on this row of classic lorries and old commercials in general. Got a drop side Bedford TK now, the late 1970s. Another Bedford. I'm not entirely sure, is this a TM? I could be wrong. Usually am when it comes to Bedfords. Looks a very original example, not over restored, just preserved by the look of it. Got an old crane. I think we've seen this before. This was at Astor Park. The old Leyland Sherpa. I was looking for a photo of one of these the other day and I couldn't find one, and here's one right in front of me. Who remembers the James Bond film with Roger Moore and Jaws, chasing through the desert with one of those? And then we've got an Austin Mobile Library. Again, wraparound windscreens. Bedford with a tipper body, aggregate supplies, sand, gravel, stone and ash. Beautifully turned out. Max gross weight not to exceed 14 tonne. Quick peek at the engine under here, diesel. And the Leyland Comet in the livery of Trentham Gravel Company Limited, Pipegate. 149 ATC is the registration. Very short wheelbase Leyland Comet. If you're watching this because you own one of the vehicles shown here or something similar, please pop a note in the comments and say hello. If you've been following the website, the main Old Classic Car website, or the channel on YouTube here, you'll know that I'm a big fan of these old lorries and classic commercials in general, big and small. It's always interesting to hear what people who watch these videos actually own themselves. Various iterations of ERF, early 1970s, probably late 50s. Lovely sheeted loader gallon here. Proper rope. Proper sign writing. A proper lorry. Perfect. You can see an information sheet just in the back of the cab. Model KV54G of 1962. Obviously got the Gardner 100 engine in it. And a slightly older ERF again, DAY 913. Shouldn't be underestimated the effort that goes into keeping these old lorries going. Quite a few lorries are owned by fleet operators of modern trucks, so they've got all the facilities, but in many cases these are just owned by private individuals, and keeping something like this on the road is no mean feat. Compared to a car, all the tools are much bigger, much beefier jacks, stands. You need a lot more space. If you're thinking about an engine swap, you need a very heavy duty gear for doing that. So hats off to everyone who keeps these old lorries going and on the road and coming to shows like this. Oh, look at this ERF GMR 93. In the livery of a haulage contractor over in Macclesfield. Another ERF, I think we've seen this one before somewhere, with the wood effect sign writing. A huge amount of work went into this. A Scammell petrol tank in the livery of Shell BP, early 1970s. Ford D series demonstrating its tipper cab alongside the Bedford TK that didn't have a tipper cab. Ford Transit of the 1980s. I know we've seen this Aec Matador before in the livery of Birkenhead Ales, but it's such a glorious, glorious wagon, I can't not feature it again. Isn't that just a glorious, glorious machine? Post-war Mark II Matador, built for Birkenhead Brewery in 1946. Laid up in 1969 with a broken crankshaft until I rescued her in 1988 from the scrapman. I spent 8 years restoring her. example of the Cooper's art up here converted into seating. Right, next row we've got a wonderful Atkinson, and the livery of a company over in Biddulph Moor near Stoke-on-Trent. Here's the Leyland we saw at Astle Park.
I'll grab the chair, don't worry about him.
A flatbed Foden in the livery of British Rail. Is that the Mickey Mouse cab? Again, due to the wraparound screens. The Bedford J series, the horse box. And a wonderful old Albion. I seem to keep saying wonderful quite a lot, but I can't not do when I see little old lorries like this. GTM 402. Breezy today. I'm looking into alternative microphones, so please forgive the slight breeze that you're probably noticing on the microphone. An Albion Chieftain. Alongside the Albion, another ERF. Nice early example of Staffordshire registration, GEH 554, and the livery of R&S Personi of Winsford. The beauty. We've got an Atkinson Borderer there, early 1970s, a Bedford J type, a Ford D series, quite a late example, Bedford S type, very nice drop side body on that one. Got an information sheet here saying it's a 7-ton truck, another one up there saying it's 1953. Regulars to the channel will know that this lovely old sedan has been on before, and if it keeps popping up at local shows it'll be on again. I just think it's a wonderful old lorry. Please forgive me if there is any repetition with the vehicles featured here, but not everyone will have seen the older videos. Bit of information down here. Sedan Mark 5L Perkins P6 engine, that's the diesel. DB 5-speed gearbox, Moss rear axle, built 1949 and registered 1950 to Everard's Brewery of Leicester. Now it's in the livery of a haulage contractor over in Congleton, so it hasn't travelled very far today. Some later ERFs. Another Albion, sure as the sunrise. That was their slogan back in the day. Smith's Potato Crisps. Is that a hint of its former life, perhaps? Bedford TK, and a Bedford Rascal pickup. One of the last vehicles to feature the Bedford name. On the end of the row is a Mark II Ford Transit, long wheelbase, with a Mark I alongside it, short wheelbase. With the advent of the Ford Transit, the Mark I in the 1960s, it really did turn the market for small light vans and pickups on its head. Gone were the slightly chunky, clunky old pickup trucks and things that people had to put up with, and Ford with the Transit brought in much more car-like controls and driving qualities to the van and pickup market, and the market never looked back really. Another very impressive lineup of modern trucks. I hadn't noticed that the Bedford J-Type is a Bedford Lycra sweeper collector. This company used to make road sweeping gear. But presumably by the time of this lorry in the 1950s, they'd switched to supplying equipment for other people's chassis. Certainly quite a lot of gear going on down here. There's an information board in there, a Lycra Bedford SA road sweeper circa 1960. Left-hand drive. Presumably so you could see the curb as you were driving along, picking up the muck.
Yeah, well, give me do these people at Congleton Motor Factories. So I took the number off the back of it.
Another Foden 424 DMB, another Rover company in Lincoln. Quite deep front windows on it to sort of help you with parking manoeuvring. We've got a 1959 Austin FE. This is a Series 3 flatbed. Got a feeling we saw these two driving past the other day. These are the two we saw driving along.
Oh yeah, I remember, yeah. It's 2 days.
Yeah, we saw them on Friday, didn't we?
Yeah.
Lovely old Leyland. EC Marshall, the late 1970s. That's joined by an earlier ERF. Next to a Volvo FL6 is this glorious old Bedford, bodied as an ambulance. Another ERF. Like living accommodation on the back. Many lorries, they have the bodies removed. People put a box on the back or a load, and inside disguised as the living accommodation. So if you're going to a vintage or a classic vehicle rally for the long weekend, you can camp and you're fully got all the gear straight to hand. And Vanessa Jane. And a Foden, again with living accommodation on the back. I wonder if that body at one time was like a standalone one on wheels that you towed behind the lorry, possibly ex-fairground. I'm assuming the vehicle itself is ex-fairground actually. It certainly looks like it. That's circa 1970 Foden.
ERF, so it needed the 8-wheeler to carry it. I love the outfit though. It's so original, and remember this company with the ERF 8-wheelers on the road, it's in the kind of lorries. One here, fitted with the gardener, under 150 here, 4-wheeler. Fitted with a dummy load, that's just how we used to go on the roads of byways with loads looking like that now. Now everything's in a curtain cider usually, or a container. The ERF instead, a 325 tractor unit, and it's working loads. Mobile crane coming next. Sure what part we start looking Foden here, 2012 model. Point written cab there. C-series. Famous lorries built a Bedford breach near Preston. Foden here with a Gardner 100. Done in British Rail livery. 1949 before again with his dummy load. This is nice because the Turks are tour now with this wonderful Leyland bus. Very claustrophobic driving these, ladies and gentlemen, because it's got the half cab. You usually used to be shut off from your passenger seating. Big Cayenne, lorry. These are the lorry builders' favourites in their day and their full working life. Albion Brigade in Scotland. 4-wheeler. That lorry with a load of about 6 tonnes top, ladies and gentlemen. Original TK Bedford. The Bedford 330 engine. second helmet now coming. A. Brown and Sons, bit of more Staffordshire, original livery firm. Whether they still exist or not, I wouldn't know. Many of these haulage firms went to divide, went to bigger concern. The ERF again. The ERF mode and Atkinson, they all had a choice of the type of engine they could use. Many use a Gardner engine, no revving, very economical, but very slow. ERF E14 Olympic is probably, in my opinion, the best motor that ever come out of ERF. Fitted with the Cummins engine there, some 500 odd horsepower. Sedan Atkinson. Atkinson amalgamated with Sedan many years ago. This is it from now when they amalgamated Sedan Atkinson tractor unit. Foden here with the 240 engine. Then we have the E10 series here. Put that every there. No fifth wheel on this one, ladies and gentlemen. I looked at that's just been restored. Still under restoration the weekend, but I'm pretty fine. It hasn't run too bad. So we'll just give it a few moments now. Let these trucks go out and the village will come in, which I said was very important yesterday.
You're 70 today, so happy birthday. Oh, there you are. I've already seen you then, haven't I? Happy birthday. Any happy returns?
Well, I think that'll round out this particular visit to Smallwood for 2021. I've seen all the lorries going through the parade and static earlier on, so thanks very much for watching. Please check out the channel for other videos on old lorries, vans, pickup trucks and so on, and more videos very soon. Thanks for now, bye bye.